ओके, थोडक्यात आपण रिकॅप घेऊया कालच्या सेशनचा. So we have started this topic yesterday from class 10th maths part 1. The topic is quadratic equation. So we have started with the basic concept of a standard form of a quadratic equation. So ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is the standard form of the quadratic equation where a, b and c are any real numbers, and only condition must be there that a must not be equal to 0. So if it is 0, then it would not be a quadratic equation. That's why this is the condition. So this is the first part we have studied. Then we have completed this activity also, which is based on the standard form of a quadratic equation and how to find the values of a, b and c by comparing the given quadratic equation with the general form. Then we have studied how to find the roots of a quadratic equation. Roots means the solution of a quadratic equation. So there are various methods by which we can find the roots of a quadratic equation. The first is factorization method, the second is completing the square method, and third is formula method. So these are the only three methods in this topic we have to learn, and we have to solve problems based on that. So based on that, we have again one activity we have solved it. Then this is the question which is based on to identify whether the given equation is a quadratic equation or not. So these all parts we have studied yesterday. We have solved some examples based on that. So factorization method, the formula method, and the nature of roots of a quadratic equation. So all these parts we have studied. Let's have the recap for how is the nature of the root of a quadratic equation if we have the value of discriminant, that is delta. So if b square minus 4ac, which is also called as a delta, which is the discriminant. So if the value of this discriminant is equal to 0, then the roots are real and equal. If b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, that means if it is a positive number, then roots are real and unequal. And if the value of discriminant is less than 0, that means if it is a negative value, then in that case the roots of a quadratic equation are not real. So these are the three possibilities of having the nature of roots of a quadratic equation. So up to this we have studied yesterday. Now hereafter let's have the next point, and that point is how to obtain a quadratic equation having given roots. So before we start this, let me check out the network. Okay. So this is our next point. We are going to start with this in today's live session. How to obtain a quadratic equation having given roots. So up to now we have studied how to find the roots of quadratic equation or the solution of a quadratic equation. So there are various methods by which we can find the solutions. Factorization method or completing the square method or the formula method by which we can find the roots of a quadratic equation. Now if vice versa condition is there, that means suppose if we have the roots of a quadratic equation, can we find the quadratic equation by that roots? So that is the question. So this is the next point, how to find a quadratic equation if we are given the roots. So there is one basic formula. Suppose alpha and beta, these are the roots of a quadratic equation in variable x, that is x is equal to alpha or x is equal to beta. So these are the roots. Then by having these roots we can find the quadratic equation by the formula x square minus addition of those two roots into x plus product of the roots, that is equal to 0. So this is the formula. So in short we can have the formula like this: x square minus into bracket alpha plus beta, as alpha and beta are the roots of quadratic equation. So we have added here alpha and beta into x plus the product of two roots, that is alpha into beta. So we have to remember this formula: x square minus into bracket alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta. So by having this formula, if we have the roots alpha and beta for any given quadratic equation, by using this formula we can get that equation. Now let's use this formula to solve some examples. So let's have the question: form the quadratic equation from the roots given below. So some two roots of a quadratic equation are given, and from this we have to find the quadratic equation. So the roots are 0 and 4. So first of all, let us name these two. So let the first root alpha is equal to 0 and the second root beta is equal to 4. So these are the two roots of quadratic equation. Now by using these roots we can find the quadratic equation, and for that we have the formula x square minus into bracket alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta, that is equal to 0. Now to get the equation only we have to substitute alpha and beta in this formula. So x square as it is minus into bracket alpha is 0 plus beta is 4 into x plus alpha into beta, that is 0 into 4, that is equal to 0. So here x square minus 0 plus 4, that's 4 into x, it is 4x, plus 0 into any number, that's 0. So 0 into 4 is 0, that is equal to 0. So we get equation as x square minus 4x, and it will not make any difference if we add 0 or if we subtract 0 from any of the expressions. So if we are not taking this 0, that's okay. So x square minus 4x, that is equal to 0, and this is the required quadratic equation. So if the roots of quadratic equation are 0 and 4, then that quadratic equation is x square minus 4x, that is equal to 0. So this is how we can find the quadratic equation, by having its roots. Let's have another example. The same question is there: form the quadratic equation from the roots given below. Now this time the roots are 3 and minus 10. So again, first of all we have to start with having names for these two roots. So let alpha be 3 and beta is equal to minus 10. So we have to take the second root along with the negative sign. Now we have the formula by which we can find the quadratic equation, that is x square minus into bracket alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta, that is equal to 0. So x square as it is minus into bracket alpha is 3 plus beta is minus 10. So as negative sign is there, we should take that 10 inside bracket, and the second bracket completes into x plus alpha into beta. So we have to take the product of these two, that is 3 into minus 10 is equal to 0. So we get here x square minus into bracket 3 plus minus will become minus 10 into x. Again two numbers are there for which we have to find the product, and both have the opposite signs. So product of positive and negative number is always negative. So 3 into 10, that's minus 30, that is equal to 0. So next step would be x square minus into bracket 3 minus 10, that's minus 7 into x minus 30, that is equal to 0. So x square minus minus will become plus 7x minus 30, that is equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation if the roots of that equation are 3 and minus 10. So this is the formula by which we can find any of the quadratic equation if we have its roots. So this question may be asked for exam. Now let's have the application of this quadratic equation. So there are some word problems which are based on the quadratic equation. So we have to apply the concept of quadratic equation to find the answer of those word problems. So let's have one word problem. The question is: Suyash scored 10 marks more in the second test than that in the first. 5 times the score of the second test is the same as square of score in the first test. Find his score in the first test. So Suyash has marks in two tests, the first test and the second test. So to find the answer of this question, that means we have to find the score in the first test. So let us consider he scored X marks in the first test, because as we have to make a quadratic equation, firstly we must have the variable. So let that variable be X. That means let Suyash scored X marks in the first test. So this is the first variable. Now it is given that Suyash scored 10 marks more in the second test than the first test. So if he scored X marks in the first test, he should have, or he has 10 marks more than that. That means he should have, that means Suyash, or we have he scored X plus 10 marks in the second test. So these are the two variable, that is X is the variable, and another expression we have got for the marks he has scored in both of the two tests. Now there is another condition given which we have to use to get a quadratic equation, and the condition is 5 times the score of the second test. So he scored X plus 10 marks in the second test, so we have to make it 5 times, that means 5 into X plus 10, and it is given that it is same as square of score in the first test. So score in the first test we have assumed to be X, so we have to make it square, that is X square, and these two are equal, that means in between these two equal to sign is there. Now if we solve this, if we multiply each term in the bracket by 5 into X, that's 5X plus 5 into 10, 50 is equal to X square. Now to get the standard quadratic equation, we have to transfer both of these two terms to the right hand side. So 0 is equal to X square plus 5X, going to that side it will be minus 5X, and plus 50 going to that side it will be minus 50. So the equation would be X square minus 5X minus 50 is equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation. Now once we find the quadratic equation, if we go on solving that, we'll get the value of the X, and we'll get, ultimately we'll get the answer. So we have to find the solution of this one, so we can use the factorization method for this one. As the constant term is minus 50 and coefficient of x is 1, so the product must be minus 50. We have to find the factors of minus 50 such that its addition or the subtraction must be minus 5. So the factors are 10 and 5. One of them must be negative, then only we can get the product negative. So let's have the sign of 10 be negative and sign of 5 be positive. So we have minus 10 plus 5, its addition is minus 5, and their product is minus 50. So these are the proper factors. So directly we can write here x minus 10. As the coefficient of first term is 1, we can directly write these factors as x minus 10 in the first bracket, and in the another bracket we have x plus 5, and that is equal to 0. Now as the product of these two is 0, any one of them must be 0, that is x minus 10 is equal to 0, or x plus 5 is equal to 0. That is x is equal to minus 10, going to the right hand side it will be plus 10, and here also plus 5, going to that side it will be minus 5. Now we have got here two values, x is equal to 10 or x is equal to minus 5, and we are dealing with the marks he has scored in the first or the second terms, and we can obviously conclude that marks cannot be negative. So we cannot take x is equal to minus 5 as the solution of this question. So the remaining possibility is x is equal to 10. So this is our answer, that is x is equal to 10, because marks cannot be negative. Now what we have supposed to be, Suyash scored x marks in the first test, and that is the question. We have got here x is equal to 10, that means Suyash scored 10 marks. In the first test. So this is the answer of this question. So this is how we can apply the quadratic equation to solve such equations. Let's have another question, another word problem. So this is the next question, which is based on the activity. So this is activity based question. So question is based on this diagram given. Here a trapezium ABCD is given, and the question is, in the adjoining figure quadrilateral ABCD is a trapezium. AB is parallel to CD and its area is 33 cm square. From the information given in the figure, find the lengths of all sides of quadrilateral ABCD and fill the empty boxes to get the solution. So this is the activity and these are the empty boxes we have to fill it. Okay, now as a information for this question, the length of AB is given to be x, length of BC is x minus 2, length of AM is x minus 4 and length of DC is 2x plus 1. So this is the information given and we have to use this to find the solution. That means to find the lengths of AB, CD, AD and BC, that is ultimately the length of all the sides of this trapezium. So it is started with quadrilateral ABCD is a trapezium and AB is given to be parallel to CD, that's given. Now we have the formula for finding the area of a trapezium, and it is area of a trapezium is equal to 1/2 into sum of the parallel sides into height. So here as area of quadrilateral ABCD, that is equal to 1/2 into sum of the parallel sides. So parallel sides are AB and CD. So in bracket here it is written that AB plus CD into, we have to take height. Height means the distance between these two parallel sides and it is AM. So in this first box we should write AM. Now the area of quadrilateral ABCD is given to be 33, so it is replaced here. That is equal to 1/2 into bracket. AB is 2x plus 1. So AB is replaced by 2x plus 1. Sorry, AB is replaced by x because the length of AB is given to be x. So AB is replaced by x and CD is 2x plus 1 into AM. AM is x minus 4. So in the second box we should have x minus 4. Now we have to simplify this. So if we add one step here, 1/2 coming to the left hand side, it will be in the numerator. So as to have 33 into 2, that is 66 is equal to x plus 2x, that means 3x plus 1 into x minus 4. So here in the first box we should have 66, that is equal to 3x plus 1 into x minus 4 as it is. And now we have to simplify this to get a quadratic equation. Now to simplify this we must have a few more steps. That is 66 is equal to each term in the second bracket by each term in the first bracket. So 3x into x, that is 3x square. Then 3x into minus 4, it is minus 12x. Now we have to multiply x and 4 by 1. So plus 1 into x, it is plus 1x. And plus 1 into minus 4, that's minus 4. So we have 66 is equal to 3x square as it is, and minus 12x plus 1x, that's minus 11x, minus 4 is equal to, now we have to write this in a proper way. That is, if we have to write this in the standard form, we should have 0 on the any one of the sides. So if we transfer 66 to the right hand side, it would be 0 is equal to 3x square minus 11x minus 4, and plus 66 coming to this side, it would be minus 66. So we get here 0 is equal to 3x square minus 11x minus minus 4 minus 66, that's minus 70. So this is the quadratic equation, and now we have to write this in this form. So 3x square, as we have written here, plus sign is there, and as the second term we have minus 11x. So if plus sign is there, inside the bracket we should have minus 11x, and constant term is minus 7 is taken here, so only we have to take the constant term, that's 70. Now we get the equation 3x square plus minus 11x minus 70 is equal to 0. So if we rewrite this, we get 3x square plus minus would be minus 11x minus 70 is equal to 0. So we can solve this by factorization method. Minus 70 into 3, that's minus 210. We have to find the factors of minus 210 such that the addition or the subtraction must be minus 11, and the product of those two would be must be minus 210. So the factors are minus 21 plus 10. As the addition of minus 21 plus 10, it will be minus 11, and product of these two is minus 210. So we can split this as 3x square as it is, minus, instead of 11x we can write minus 21x plus 10x minus 70 is equal to 0. Now we can make groups of 2. So from the first group we can take 3x common. So inside the bracket we have x minus x is taken common from 21. If we take 3 common, it would be 7. It is x minus 7 in the first bracket. And from the second group we can take 10 common. So inside the bracket we should have x minus, if we take common 10 common from 70, it would be 7. So we have x minus 7 common. So that should be in the second bracket x minus 7. And in the first bracket we should have 3x plus 10. So as the product of these two is equal to 0, that means any one of them must be 0. So either 3x plus 10 is equal to 0, which is written here, or x minus 7 is equal to 0. So again, if we simplify this, plus 10 going to that side, right hand side, it will be minus 10. Again 3 going to that side, it will be in the denominator. So we get here value of x as minus 10 by 3. Or for second one, minus 7 going to the right hand side, it will be plus 7. So here we got two values, minus 10 by 3 or 7. So again we are dealing with the lengths of sides, and we cannot have the length of a side negative. So here it is given that the length never negative, that's why x is not equal to minus 10 by 3. So the only possibility is x is equal to 7. And now once if we have x, we can find the lengths of all the four sides AB, CD, AD and BC by these expressions. So as the length of value of x is 7, AB is given to be x. So the length of AB, that is equal to 7, as x is equal to 7. Then we have CD, and for CD we have the expression 2x plus 1. So here 2x plus 1, if we write 2 into bracket value of x, if we replace here by 7 plus 1. So 2 into 7, that's 14 plus 1, that is equal to 15. So the length of segment CD is 15 over here, and AD is equal to BC. So BC is x minus 2, AD is also x minus 2, as both of these two are represented by the same sign, which is x minus 2. So AD is equal to BC is equal to x minus 2, that means 7 minus 2, and 7 minus 2 is 5. So the length of AD and BC is 5. So this is the activity which is based on the quadratic equation. Okay. We'll have another question, another word problem based on this concept. Find m if m minus 12 into x square plus 2 into m minus 12 into x plus 2 is equal to 0 has real and equal roots. So it is given that this quadratic equation has real and equal roots. So we have to use that property. When we get the roots real and equal, if the value of the discriminant, that is delta is equal to 0. That means b square minus 4ac, that is equal to 0. So we have to use this to solve or to find the value of m. So let's have this equation given. So if you write this equation, m minus 12 into x square plus, if we multiply inside the bracket, we get 2 into m, that's 2m, minus 2 into 12, that's 24, into x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we have to remember one thing, that here m is not a variable. Variable is x, and m is taken as the coefficient. M minus 12 is one of the coefficient. So we have to find the value of m. Variable is x. So if we compare this equation, let's number this as equation number 1. Now if we compare this equation with the standard form, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then in place of a we have the value m minus 12. So value of a is m minus 12, value of b is 2m minus 24, and value of c is 2. So these are the values of a, b and c, and we have found values of a, b and c because we have to find the discriminant. Now it is given that the roots of this equation are real and equal. So roots are real and equal. When we get roots real and equal, if delta is equal to 0, that means b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. Now we have the values of a, b and c here. Only we have to replace that in this formula, that is in the discriminant. B square, that means 2m minus 24. So as it is expression, we should have this in a bracket, or if we take this without bracket, the solution we might get wrong. So we should have value of b in the bracket, that is 2m minus 24 bracket square minus 4 into a is m minus 12, m minus 12 into c is 2, and that is equal to 0. Now here we have to use the expansion formula, a minus b bracket square, that is first term square, first term is 2m, its square is 4m square, minus product of these two, that is 24 into 2m, that's 48, and its double would be 96m, because we are using the formula a minus b bracket square, that is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. So by that formula we have to take a product of these two and we have to make its double. That's why we are getting this answer. It is minus 96m plus the square of the second term, that is 24. So 24 square is 576, minus 4 into 2, that's 8, into bracket m minus 12 is equal to 0. So we have here 4m square minus 96m plus 576. We have to multiply each term m and minus 12 by 8, which is outside the bracket. So minus 8 into m, that's minus 8m, minus minus would become plus 12 into 8, that's 96 is equal to 0. So we get the quadratic equation as 4m square minus 96m minus 8m, that would be minus 104m, as both have the negative values, and plus 576 plus 96, that would be 672 is equal to 0. So all these coefficients 4, 104 and 672, they can be divided by 4. So if we divide throughout by 4, we get, if we divide 4m square by 4, 4 will get cancelled to have m square, minus if we divide 104 by 4 into m, plus 672 divided by 4 is equal to 0. So we get the quadratic equation in the simple form as, if we divide by 4, we get 4 2 and 6 26m, plus if we divide here by 4, we get 168. that is equal to 0. Now we can solve this by factorization method. We have to find the factors of 168 such that their addition or the subtraction must be minus 26. So the factors are minus 14, minus 12. So addition of these two is minus 26 and product of these two is plus 168. So we have m minus 14. We can directly have the factors, we can write these factors as m minus 14 and m minus 12 as the coefficient of m square is 1, that is equal to 0. So as the product of these two is equal to 0, that means any one of them must be 0. Either m minus 14 is equal to 0 or m minus 12 is equal to 0. So minus 14 going to that side, it will be plus 14, or m is equal to minus 12 going to that side, it will be plus 12. So we have got here two values for the m. Either m has a value 14 or 12. So this is how we can solve this question. If the roots are given to be real and equal, we have used the property of the discriminant. If the roots are real and equal, the value of the discriminant is equal to 0. So we have used this property to solve this question. So these are the all questions we have studied in this topic. Now another question we have left in this topic is the completing square method. So we have studied the two methods already in this topic to find the solution of that quadratic equation. So only one method we have to learn, or if we solve one question which is based on the completing square method. So how to find the solution by this method? So to look at, let's have one question. Let us have the equation x square plus 2x minus 5, that is equal to 0. So suppose this is the equation given, and as we can solve, we can see here we cannot find the factors of minus 5 such that the addition or the subtraction of those factors is plus 2 and the product is minus 5. So no such factors are there. That's why we cannot use the factorization method. And if we are not using the factorization method, we have to use the another method. Either it is a formula method or a completing square method. Now let's have how to use the completing square method to find the solution of this type of equation. So on first condition, or we should take here to use the completing square method, that the coefficient of the first term, that is x square, it must be 1. Now in this question, in this particular question, it is 1. No need to check it. But suppose if we have 3 here, 3x square, then we have to eliminate this 3. So in that case, first of all, we should take care that the coefficient of the first term must be 1. And if it is not 1, then we have to make it 1. Because without that, we cannot use this method. So that is the condition only. Okay. Now, this equation has the coefficient of the first term 1. Now we can have one formula by which we have to add or we have to subtract one number. We have to add and we have to subtract. And to have that number, we have to use this formula, b divided by bracket square. Now what is b? If we compare this equation with the standard form, ax square plus bx plus c. So the coefficient of the middle term is b. So coefficient of middle term is 2. So we should have 2 instead of b, divided by 2 and bracket square, that is equal to. So 2 will get cancelled. So we'll have 1 divided by 1, that is 1 bracket square, and 1 square is 1. So this is the number we have to add and we have to subtract in this equation. And now the question is, why do we do that? Then the answer of that question would be, we have to make a complete square. That's why. So that is the logic only behind that. So we have x square plus 2x. Now this is the next step. Firstly, write down the first two terms as it is. Now we have found this b by 2 bracket square, that's 1. So first of all we should add 1 and we should subtract 1. And the next last term, that is constant term, minus 5, that is equal to 0. Now as we have added and we have subtracted here 1, that will not make any difference to the original equation, because plus 1 minus 1 will get ultimately 0. So that's okay with this one. And now if we make two groups of these 5 terms, that is x square plus 2x plus 1, this is the first group, and minus 1 minus 5, this is the second group. So as we can observe here, x square plus 2x plus 1, it is the perfect square, and it is the perfect square of x plus 1 bracket square. Now if we do not know, only we have to remember that we have to take a square root of first term x, square root of last term 1, just fill these two terms in bracket and have it square. And minus 1 minus 5, that's minus 6 is equal to 0. Now x plus 1 bracket square as it is, and minus 6 coming to the right hand side, it will be plus 6. Now we have to find the solution, that means we have to find the value of the x. So to do that we have to take a square root. So taking square root here on both the sides, because we have to do the operation on the both the sides of the equation. So if you take square root on the left hand side, square and square root will get cancelled. So we have x plus 1 is equal to 6 is not a perfect square, so that should be in the square root sign. And as we are taking the square root, we should consider both the positive and negative signs. That's why the square root of 6 is either plus root 6 or minus root 6. Now why is it so? There is a logic behind that. Suppose if we have a number 2 and if we make it square, we get 4. Suppose if we have minus 2 and if we make it square, we get again 4, because the square of any negative number is positive. So if we make a square of 2 or minus 2, the answer is same, 4. Now if we try to make a square root, it may be plus 2, square root of 4 plus 2, or minus 2. That's why we have to consider both the positive and negative sign while having the square roots. Now we have to find value of x. So transfer this plus 1 to the right hand side. So plus 1 will become minus 1 and plus minus root 6 as it is. Now we can split this as x is equal to minus 1. Firstly we should write plus root 6, or x is equal to minus 1 minus root 6. So these are the two values and these are the two roots of the quadratic equation. So this is the completing a square method. Now let's have another question in which the coefficient of the first term is not 1. So let's have the equation 9y square minus 12y plus 2 is equal to 0. So this is the another equation. We have to solve this by completing the square method. And the first condition I have told you that the coefficient of the first term must be 1. And if it is not 1, we have to make it 1. So to eliminate this 9, we have to divide throughout by 9. So if we divide the first term 9y square by 9 minus 12 divided by 9 into y plus 2 divided by 9 is equal to 0. In the first term 9 will get cancelled. In the second term we can divide by 3. 3 3s are 9 and 3 4s are 12. So we have y square. We can use our proper method. Now we have to find the value of b divided by 2 bracket square. Now this time the value of b is 4 by 3 along with the negative sign. So we should have minus 4 divided by 3, and we have to take 2 in the denominator of this one, divided by 2, the whole term in the bracket and square, that is equal to. So in the bracket we have minus 4 by 3 into, if we take 2 in the numerator, it should be its reciprocal. So reciprocal of 2 is 1 by 2 bracket square. Now in this one we can simplify, 2 1s are and 2 2s are 4. So we get here minus 2 into 1, that's minus 2, divided by 3 into 1, that's 3. and bracket square. So minus 2 square is 4 divided by 3 square is 9. So this is the term we have to add and subtract. So we have the first term in the given equation, y square minus 4 by 3 into y plus, now we have to add 4 by 9, we have to subtract 4 by 9, and now the last constant term plus 2 divided by 9. Now collect these three terms. It is a perfect square and it is the perfect square of y. The middle term sign is now minus, so we should take y minus the square root of the last term, that is 4 by 9. Its square root is 2 divided by 3 and bracket square. So y square minus 4 by 3 into y plus 4 by 9 is a perfect square, or is the expansion of y minus 2 by 3 bracket square. So if we simplify this by having the formula a minus b bracket square, we will get this same result. Now here we have minus 4 by 9 plus 2 by 9. If we simplify this, we get, as the denominator is same, we can write it once, and in the numerator we have minus 4 minus 2, that's minus 2, and this is equal to 0. So in this equation also it is equal to 0. Okay, here would not have minus n, that is double the minus. Okay, now we have y minus 2 divided by 3 bracket square. If we transfer minus 2 by 9 to the right hand side, it will be plus 2 by 9. Now we have to find the square root. So taking square root on both the sides, we have y minus 2 by 3, because square root and square will get cancelled, that is equal to 2 is not a perfect square, so that should be in the square root sign, divided by 9 is a perfect square and it is a perfect square of 3. And as we are taking the square root, we should consider both positive and negative sign. So we should take care of taking positive and negative signs while taking a square root each time. Now we have to transfer this minus 2 by 3 to the right hand side, so as to get the value of y, that is equal to minus 2 by 3 going to that side, it will be plus 2 by 3 plus or minus root 2 divided by 3. Now we can split this, y is equal to, or we can have the denominator same, so we should write it once, and in the numerator we have 2 plus or minus root 2 divided by 3, and now we can split this as 2 plus root 2 divided by 3, or y is equal to 2 minus root 2 divided by 3. So these are the two solutions of the given quadratic equation, and we have found these solutions by the completing square method. So this is the last point in this topic. We can have the solution of any quadratic equation by either factorization method or completing square method or the formula method. So this is the revision of the topic quadratic equation from class 10th maths part 1. Okay, that's it for today. We'll end this session. Thanks for watching.